Okay, so what's the GLA like to drive? It's you know, just like any other hatchback really. You don't notice the extra height. It's not I mean, you know, it's not an off-roader, so it's they say it's an off-roader, but it's not an off-roader. It drives, you know, just like any other car. You know, you get a bit of body roll in corners, probably a bit more than usual. Just maybe the suspension is a bit softer. And although it's got the same engine as the CLA, the coupe version of the range, and it's got the same power and torque outputs, the engineers have tuned it more for off-road. But they've also tuned it to be a bit more civilized. The CLA has got a fantastic sound to it. It makes a massive woof every time you change up, and crackles and pops on overrun when you let the throttle up. And that really adds to the driving experience. Whereas this car's just smooth. There's no sound, there's no drama, there's no anything like that, you know. It's just designed to be much more civilized. And the real secret to these cars is the high seating point, because you step into one of these cars rather than fall into it. It's like when the Nissan Qashqai came out, I couldn't get my head around what it was. It was supposed to be an SUV, but it was only available on front wheel drive. And then it sort of hit me. I thought, you know, this is just a nice big car that's comfy to get into, which is important as you get older. And as we all know, in New Zealand, mostly only old people buy new cars. So it's just the way it is. And that seems to be the way that this car is aimed at. Interestingly enough though, this does have an actual surprising amount of technology devoted to going off-road. You've got hill descent control, which works just like any other hill descent control on any other vehicle. You can change the speed at which you go downhill automatically, and it'll just hold it at that speed. But it's also got an off-road button, and if you hit the off-road button, it changes the ABS, the stability control, and you know, all the electronics for better off-road performance. It even will adjust the light beam at night to cover more ground, and that's, you know, obviously going to be really good. But you're never going to take this off-road. Nobody takes a $70,000 or $80,000 car off-road. I mean, I could be wrong. Germany could be absolutely full every weekend of people just going out into the wilderness in their expensive SUVs and exploring the hell out of Germany. But somehow I just can't see that happening. So I think basically they just, for the A-Class, they needed something that was a bit more usable for the older people, a bit more, you know, a bit more bigger, a bit more, how to put it, you know, just a bit more comfy. You know, the ride's a bit comfier, everything's a bit comfier in it. So basically it's, Mercedes had to put it somewhere, they had to call it something, so why not call it a G? It just does surprise me that they've gone to all the effort of putting in all those off-road electronics. Of course they probably all come as a package straight out of one of the more harder core, you know, maybe the G-Class or you know, the GL. Yeah, that's how it was actually worthwhile putting it in here. You know, they thought, well, why not just put it in? You know, someone might go off-road. But I think the only people that are ever going to go off-road in this car are people who have followed the sat-nav instructions to the letter, and it's led them into a field. One of the odd points about this is that the design of the dashboard is fantastic. It looks really, really good, except for this big screen here. Now, the big screen it looks like it's a touch screen, but it's not. And it also looks like it's a removable iPad-like device, which might actually entice somebody to try and do a smash and grab, try and nick it, only to find that it's fixed to the dashboard. I really wish it was a touch screen, because you navigate through it using a little twirly switch here, and which goes up and down and left and right and all of that. It's hard to work through the menus. I've had 3 weeks of I've had 3 weeks of Mercedes-Benzes with this system in it, and I'm only now just sort of grasping how to operate it. I mean, obviously if you owned one of these, you would have it for more than 3 weeks. You'd get the gist of it, but it's not inherently very understandable, whereas some other systems, say something like Lexus, does it a lot better.